Hi, our name is Hamin Media Group Infidels. Get your chicken. HMG. It's time to light the fuse, Infidels. All the AEW double shots you can handle in 1 week from Saturday to Wednesday. And I don't know, man. I think we're oversaturated, but we're going to break it all down here. It's MSG, it's HackerHamin, waiting for the sexy in himself, Chris Silvio. Light the fuse. Y'all.
That's right. Ding dong.
Yeah. Ding dong.
And if any
Ding dong.
Yeah, we'll get his ready for him for his big entrance. He loved one. Yeah, man. Good to be back. It was interesting morning. Stevie and I were gonna do the Friday locker room, but he's on location in Florida, had some family stuff he's got going on. So by all means, Stevie don't want to do a locker room. You don't have to, there's no pressure. But I thought I was gonna have the run-in from special guest Drake Wirtz as well. And he got called into Wirtz had to work last minute. So we're open invitation to him. But right now, somebody's at the door.
Ding dong. Hello?
It's El Silvio, the sexy in himself, the dirty dancer. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you.
Fantastic. What a way to enter the broadcast today. Favorite soundbite of the last 12 months.
I know, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Even though a double shot this week of AEW as we did the show Sunday. Did we do it Sunday or Monday? I can't even remember. Sunday, Monday. It don't matter anymore around here. It's just constant production. But yeah, so open invitation to Drake Wirtz, and hopefully we can get something cool worked out for the Friday Veteran Locker Room with him. Just good brother bullshit, or as deep as he wants to dive into some of the controversy surrounding his departure. And the integrity surrounding it. I don't want to just say controversy. So it should be pretty cool when we can link that up. But shout out to all the vets out there. Big Stevie, thanks, for all the time he gives for me to rock it solo day. It was kind of fun. And then right afterwards, I got to do my second round in Timmy Baltimore's face of Sopranos superfan interview with their producer, Andy. And I think it went pretty well. So, a lot of fingers crossed that I get picked as a finalist to be on the panel or what have you, however they're going to do it. And really as much of a fanatic as I am to be chosen out of 3,000. And then I think I had a pretty good shot at it today. It's been a cool experience already. So big day at HMG. And we're going to make it even bigger, man. What's going on with you, MSG?
Oh, we're back at it again. Spent a good portion of this morning just editing up some content for patreon.com/StevieRayTV. Brand new video is up on his YouTube, youtube.com/StevieRayTV. About 30 minutes I cut from the interview. It's a full 2-hour interview. So if you're a Patreon member or a Twitch subscriber, you can get the full interview. Otherwise, you can head over there right now, cut it down to about 30 minutes just to talking with a SWE professional wrestler, Andrew Anderson, who's been around the business for 26 years. So go check that out as well. If you want to see Ben Hamin at SWE Fury, tweet them, Instagram the post, Facebook, let them know at SWE Fury TV. You want to see Ben Hamin in the big state of Texas?
Yeah, I got 5 bookings already across the nation. Man, it's East Coast, Jersey, and all the way to Indiana. So I'm ready to go Texas to beat that ass. SWE looks like they're doing some great things, and yeah, I feel like I could fit in pretty naturally. But thank you for that plug. Absolutely. And I wanted to, before I can throw it to you, still, I got a pretty big question, but good to see you again. I was watching NXT, and I even stooged it to mind our P's and Q's or whatever of who we step on at our friends in our circle, and and whatnot. But I know Jenna is very close with Mercedes Martinez, and she just took a wicked step over boot. And I was like, that was an awesome sell, because it wasn't a sell. It was a shoot knockout with her legs locked up and doing a skitter across the mat. And then read this morning that she had to go for a checkup and update. Any inside stooge on how she's doing right now, man?
Where'd you read about this?
Wrestle Stink.
Okay. Yeah, because I haven't seen anything, but I've heard that it's been referenced. I can say this. Yeah, she did get caught. They had her go through the necessary protocols, but I heard her voice myself last night, and she's doing well. She's okay. She's fine. So that's the good news.
Good.
It's an unfortunate thing that happens sometimes is, the shit ain't ballet, but it
No,
looks like she's going to be all
that
right.
was ballet. That was a hell of a pirouette kick. To lay down. That little girl's got good kicks, but obviously anybody gets caught. I've been in matches where I'm rocked. You have been, and we've been when ones where guys knocked out. I remember in the last one right before COVID, triple threat. I was just managing. Am I beeping out here? All right. Yeah.
You're good.
Okay, I was just managing, and Sean Carr took something nasty from GGP or Punjabi Lion, and he's on the ground and looking at him. I can see the birds over his head. He goes, Hamin, I think I got knocked out. I go, take it easy, Sean. We'll fucking pull some time. I give fucking GGP the Iggy, and Punjabi Lion. You've seen him in AEW Dark. What a specimen he is, man. A great worker. So all four of us veterans of the Northeast Indies there, and I was going to take care of Carr, and until he could clear up and see if he could go on or if we got to change something on the fly. So be it. Who gives a shit? It's about people's health and safety. Sure. I got to be a bit of the heater here, though, after saying that about Mercedes, and obviously you want people to do it, but I went back and watched it 2-3 times. And I don't know what's not being taught at NXT over there. And I consider her a veteran worker anyway. It's not like she's green out of the fucking gate by any means. I'm not saying that. Both of her hands are down by her side. So when that kick comes around, and I get that they're trying to do the Mortal Kombat scene, and that's their spot on the show, and you want to sell for somebody. But we have to have the fundamentals of, especially at developmental, of having your hand up. Of having your hand up on every super kick and all. And I watched tonight, no hands up on hardly anything on this show on AEW. But them, I don't expect to have it. I was surprised. I know what she was trying to do, but now we see what that gamble yields, and it's not worth it at the end of the day. Let's work a lot smarter, more fundamentally sound and safer, so we can have longevity and not just try to do something for an ever shrinking fan base that demands more violence and realism when they don't know shit about taking a worked kick or a real kick. So why should we do anything to feed them? We got to get back to the simple things of putting a hand up and what that feels like to turn around and being registered and selling. Oh shit, and here comes the kick, and I can just get my hand here in time, and it's off, and they never see the sleight of hand and all that. We're not even attempting to do that kind of stuff. So I am, you are, but
I did notice that, and the only thing that I can attribute it to is just one of those weird in the moment things. Mercedes is a tremendous pro wrestler. One of those weird in the moment things where it just happened and she didn't think for some reason, or the more likely case, they have been working together quite a bit, and she was paired with Mercedes specifically to get her good, essentially. So more likely scenarios, Mercedes taken a bunch of those and trusted a little too much. I don't know.
I saw Owens and Zayn do it on the fucking pump kick in the corner, no hand up.
Here's my deal with it. I mean, in training, I teach every single one of my students hands up on everything. Their instruction is, if you're in the ring with me and I'm throwing any strike towards your face or your head, don't even trust me. I haven't connected with one ever, and I probably will never, hopefully. But that's how I teach them. Don't even trust the person that you're paying to teach you this business, let alone the newer people, let alone wrestlers that you never met before. On every single thing coming at your face, hands up. It's the same with striking. I mean, I know you work more on the wrestling end than the training end, so you probably haven't seen this, but it boggles my mind, man. A lot of the people that I've run into in training scenarios with stuff like forearms and punches, they were taught to make firm connection with the forearm, and I don't mean on your chest or back. I mean either on the neck or the jaw. And they're going around rocking people. So when I get people in my program, I have to deprogram that other shit to tell them that, no, we do not clock each other in the face with anything ever. That's just not how it fucking works. But yeah, it's a step that's often getting missed, and unfortunate situation.
Here's the big problem is that those who don't have a great trainer like you or need to go to Sydal Dojo and train with some of the best there is right now, they're just seeing that. Then they're going to their indie and they're never going to fucking get the muscle memory of keep your hands up, because the trust issue is one thing to teach the kids, but you're really teaching every time something's coming, boom, I'm here. And it just becomes second nature. So when you're in the ring doing it, boom, there it is. And down I go. But if they're fucking trying to do whatever and they're just sticking their chin out to get fucking blasted, I'm not, you can speak to this better than anybody can. How's it feel to have your brain fucking knock off the inside of your skull?
It's not fun.
No.
Not a pleasant experience.
Not a pleasant experience at all. Well, definitely some interesting conversation to start off there. Now, NXT apparently reportedly, I don't know.
If this gets back to Mercedes, big respect, and I'm not trying to downplay and say anybody's a shitty worker. I was surprised at it. The spot looked awesome. It looked great. So at least we got, because usually things that hurt the worst look like shit on camera and don't look good. That looked like a Mortal Kombat finisher, fucking step over roundhouse knockout, and big shout out to the ref, really being on time right there and calling that shit. And it ain't ballet. It happens, y'all. So sorry.
And just to clarify, we here at Light the Fuse and HNG do view Miss Martinez as one of the greatest female wrestlers on planet Earth.
Absolutely. And that's why it was a tough lesson for everybody to learn, but I hope they fucking do learn something from it. And that's what Christian's promo was about tonight on AEW Dynamite too. So interesting. Maddie.
Yes, I was going to say WWE NXT guys drew the lowest viewership since moving to Tuesdays. I don't know if you had discussed this on the Friday locker room this morning.
No.
But to do Tuesday's live edition of WWE NXT drew 636,000 viewers. This is down 4.4% from last week's episode, which drew 665,000 viewers. This is also down 23.5% from last week's 0.17 rating in the key demo. So they fell huge in the key demo.
So what was the overall number this week, NXT?
636,000 viewers.
636.
0.13 rating in the 18 to 40.
It was a great show, bro, to be honest with you. Like there was some things where I was like, with the guys that want to be big, but they're not. But the opener and the main event was phenomenal, dude. That new group Hit Row is one of my favorite things in wrestling. They've got such a great stage picture before, and then I like the Mortal Kombat stuff, and the girls who take a lot of dives and do a lot of dumb shit in the beginning took care of each other, and it was good. I just don't like people in a shotgun finish hitting their finishers only to have it broken up and not sold. You know what I mean? Like there's an argument for it. We talked about that, but on the next level review, but there's other impact moves you can do in a shotgun finish where you don't have to have your finisher buried. That's just my own personal opinion. Some people would say them breaking it up means that your finisher's over and they knew the match was over. So the breakup means more to get your finish over. I don't like to use something unless it's going to fucking stick. So especially if it's the biggest thing in the match.
I'll agree with you on that one.
Well, also a couple other news and notes that came out here. Apparently Vince McMahon is going to be visiting the WWE Performance Center today.
Yeah. Goddamn.
So Vince McMahon is visiting the Performance Center to scout talent as the company looks to replenish the main roster. And PW Insider reports that McMahon is also scheduled to have a meeting with the Performance Center staff and coaches. This rare visit from McMahon has many performers and workers privately concerned, given the amount of cuts the company has made.
As well they should be.
As well as today, they actually cut some people from the marketing department, it was noted. Yep, just happened within the last hour. They haven't nobody notable or name wise yet, but it's been noted that people from HQ, some people have been fired from HQ today.
Interesting.
Regarding the Performance Center staff, Matt Bloom is still the head coach and runs things but WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels has taken on a major role in the last year. Michaels is said to be very progressive towards his approach, leaning into the current evolution of the in-ring style that younger wrestlers perform with, while others remain much more conservative in how they approach things. So there you go. Apparently, we're going to be getting an episode of Vince McMahon on a future episode of Master Shoot Theater. That's going to be great.
What do you guys think about when Adam Cole cuts an incredible promo, very believable, very in the moment. Kyle O'Reilly has worked on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, really impressed in his style. Johnny Gargano, an in-ring technician like no other. And then Ciampa, who looks fucking phenomenal and has maybe negative body fat at this point. You line those four up there, he's going to look at Ciampa as the small guy and then go, why do we even have these other guys under contract? I think they're top guys that have really carried the banner for NXT and had to try and make NXT a third brand because they're smart workers and they know there's no way you can go up there and put them next to Elias, Riker, Sheamus, Lashley. Like that, it just isn't going to work. Will McMahon come down and just be like, these guys are never going to get over? And then Triple H and Shawn can go to bat for them. They're like, they're our most over guys. But he goes, okay, here, but up there, I don't see it. I don't see that happening. And if you was to look at the eye test, like, not trying to shit on you, Maddie, but to me, Adam Cole and Matt kind of have exact physiques at this point. And I don't believe Matt's going in to beat Bobby Lashley or Ken Shamrock anytime soon. So like that, knowing how Vince likes the big man and to look like a wrestler, and then he's going to see those guys, dude, everybody's asshole today is puckered. Fuck it. You couldn't put a goddamn penny up that son of a bitch. Like they are fucked. So it could either be, maybe Adam Cole cuts another great promo and Vince is blown away and he realizes he's got his next Shawn Michaels, Tom Cruise crossover hybrid, or it could be fucking lambs to slaughter today, bro. And the way things have gone in the last month, you might not be able to get a pixie stick up that asshole. It's going to be fucking puckered so tight, bro.
Do you think McMahon goes down there, looks at Karrion Kross and goes, we got to have him on Raw tonight?
Yeah, he's already aware. A guy like that, he's aware of. Those other guys I mentioned fly under the radar. They act like they're a big deal there, but nobody's fucking sweating Adam Cole and Gargano on the main roster. Not even a little bit, bro. Like the other thing that I see is they took the title off Bronson Reed. I believe that I would bring him up and I'd put him with Otis and I'd make Gable their manager. Two big fucking Vader type guys together.
Well, don't forget that we did see Ciampa and Gargano on the main roster briefly when Ricochet and Aleister Black came up. We did see Adam Cole.
They were top guys there too, and then to bring them up, blow it all off.
Vince's feelings about certain wrestlers. We did see Adam Cole on SmackDown. I think he worked with Daniel Bryan. So Vince is aware of all of these guys. The problem is that we know the way Vince books, that he doesn't. Guys that size, unfortunately, aren't his cup of tea. We see the way Ricochet's used, the way Cedric Alexander's used, etc. I don't think, however, we'll see them pull out the Coles and the Ciampas and let them go, for the simple reason that those are the guys that care. They're too valuable. If NXT were to go away, like if Vince
so was Braun Strowman and Aleister Black.
Not when it comes to carrying an entire show. Now, if Vince says, look, NXT's not working, we need to get rid of it completely, then I could say, okay, those guys need to be worried about their jobs. Okay. But I was watching a match the other day just to study 2015 Adam Cole versus AJ Styles. Adam Cole looked about 20 pounds heavier then. This was in Ring of Honor. He had some beef to him. And him and AJ stood about eye to eye. So size-wise, because Cole's lost a few pounds, very lean right now. He doesn't look that big on TV. But in reality, he's about AJ Styles size, who Vince did push and give some stuff to. So there's hope. I think it's faint hope they could pull it off, especially Adam Cole.
You know the pressure, though. Imagine you're there today, bro. Imagine.
I would hate it.
There was a lot of sleepless nights last night. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say these guys aren't good and they can't make it. I'm just looking at knowing what I know about me, pal. And the way things have been going. everybody's sitting on one ass cheek right now. There's
they
no
know, bro. Why do you think a guy like Adam Cole isn't politicking to be on Raw? They want to stay where they are because they know the deal.
But they politic hard because they've been in and I'm sure Sean is pumped to see this little, once a fucking throat cutter, Sean's probably like, yeah, I'm going to do this, because in their promos, they run Cross down as being not the man and incompetent and all these types of things and can't compare. And then they even shit on what do you call it? David and Goliath storylines to throw that little argument out the window. And all they're doing is trying to lower the value across to keep themselves as locker room leaders of being, we're on the same side because we know you've got the one thing that we could never have, which is size, Yeah. And there, dude, that in the promos and what I've seen the last 3 weeks, there's definite HBK fucking lighting fucking fuses over there, bro. And watching him go off for his own little, it feels like click shit from 1996. Right. I mean, bro. And they're playing right into it. Absolutely. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you want Shawn Michaels on your side? And you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be 6 inches taller. So if I was that fucking guy too, I'd be playing that exact same game. However, Cross is going to go up. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he is. And one rumor I have heard, I can't verify it, but it is out there in the sheets and some other places, is that WWE is considering, or they currently are, shifting back to how they hired Hamin when you and I were trying to break into mainstream wrestling, where they're looking for youth again. They're looking for those 25-year-olds, and they're also looking for people 6 foot and above. They're looking for larger wrestlers again. So will that affect what we're talking about, the shakeup in Vince?
Interesting. I hadn't heard that. If there's a fucking memorandum like that, dude, guys like that you mentioned, like fucking Prince Albert and them, they will cut all of those. Anybody under 5'11", you're fucking gone. Guys are getting 2-inch lifts on their boots. You watch this. I'm telling you, in the next fucking month and a half, someone's going to have lifts on the bottom of their boots that fucking big, just so every little wrestler trick that there is to make it and keep your contract, bro.
I got one little detail I'd like to add, but Maddie, what do you think of all this?
I think there's something to be said about the current wrestling fan that kind of likes the style of these maybe undersized wrestlers in comparison to the larger than life characters that wrestling historically has become famous on. So I think it's interesting that Shawn Michaels is really smart about it, leaning into that style so that way he continues to curry favor within his own locker room, which from a political standpoint, if you're looking to move into that head trainer position or have the opportunity, you're laying the groundwork for that. So I think that's very intelligent on his move. Obviously, he's one of the best in the business at politicking, Shawn Michaels. So, but I mean, I don't watch professional wrestling to see guys like me personally. That's just my opinion. I don't mind it if you have a match or two in there like that, like in the different flavors. But I'm not necessarily watching a whole product just to watch guys who are 5'8", 5'9", my size in the ring. So I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of NXT at times. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of AEW at times, but I think AEW has, in comparison to NXT, is definitely has got larger than bigger guy characters and got good storylines. So it's a little bit different, and as far as the engaging aspect. So I guess it's just really what you like. Do you like this new style of evolution of wrestling? If you're a wrestling fan, do you like the high intensity, fast paced? Not really a lot of selling for bigger moves and everyone's trying to one-up each other? Or do you like that traditional style of wrestling that, NWA or SWE Fury out in the West or Southwest is offering? So I guess it's really, I can see why people say it's a great time to be a wrestling fan because from that standpoint, there is a lot of options. But from the business standpoint, it definitely is not a reflection on that right now.
See, I think, and those are all very good points, especially the Shawn Michaels one. I think wrestling should have a variety of acts, variety of sizes, speeds, styles. It's a circus. We always talk about that. You got the tightrope walker, you got the lion tamer. Wrestling's the same. But I do say that whoever is in there, whether they're 5'7" like myself or whether they're 6'10", they need to look like they can kick someone's ass.
Right.
And one thing that really digs at me, including some of the people that may be under scrutiny from Vince right now, it drives me nuts when I see performers around my size that let their physiques go or don't strive to make their physique as good as it can possibly be. For example, Ciampa is the prime of somebody who was not born the tallest man, but goddamn if he doesn't work his ass off to make what he has look as good as he has. So I see a lot of guys with these great opportunities on national TV, and you look at their bodies and you know they're just not doing it. And that's just a personal.
And they have a nutritionist, 24/7 top gym access, recovery, and fucking.
And I'm not just talking about WWE. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, and I should clarify as well further. When I say guys that are like 5'9", I mean guys that look like me, skinny guys. Taz was 5'9", but he was a brick house, you know what I mean? So he looked.
Benoit was 5'9".
Right, exactly. So like some of these guys who were shorter, they looked the part. They looked like a larger than life superstar because you can play camera tricks, right?
Sure.
But like if you don't look the part, then definitely I understand what you're saying.
And the other part of that is they all live in Florida in the Cool Kids Club, and there's a shit ton of gas right now. Get on a cycle. You're going to wish you did once you're on the fucking unemployment line.
You know, the East Coast is currently going through gas shortages still after that coastline pipeline thing or whatever.
I hacked the pipeline. You can't fucking tell.
I've been seeing you over there the last few weeks, kayfabing those arms. You need to start wearing some tank tops around here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. My chest is my focus group right now. I'm just trying to do the intermittent fasting and little as carbs as I can, and every day working out, man, pushing it, feeling good.
If you need a few tips or change ups, feel free to hit me up, man. You know, I'm always down to help.
Absolutely.
I got to mention this since we're talking about workouts. I think I told you guys on the show I started training my father about 2.5-3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He had ballooned up to like 230, and my dad's about 5'10-ish, 5'9", 5'10". Already he's down 25 pounds, defined triceps, biceps coming in, gut almost completely gone. So he's been kicking ass, proud of him. But yeah, I mean, any help you need, I got you.
I'll work him. Let's get in a match. I'll put him over. Yeah, a lot, man. Let's get to it. What else, Matty?
I was going to say the previous comment about steroids is not endorsed by Hamin Media Group as a whole. That is by Ben Hamin. So you can take that as
well. Go look at Buddy Murphy's pictures yesterday. He got let go and apparently found the secret to 15 pounds a month. So, I'm the asshole. It's me.
I'm just saying I'm not endorsing people to do steroids.
Get on a fucking cycle if you're in this business and you're trying to get over and keep your job.
AEW Dynamite, guys, last night. So previously we got the numbers from June 26th. They had 649,000 viewers. So actually, as far as a Friday or Saturday night is concerned, that was their biggest viewership in the last month and a half. And that could have been, of course, due to NBA being on all day. And as I mentioned, when we reviewed on Sunday, they scored a 6.1 in the ratings. Silvio Ben Hamin did not like me twisting the advertising style of.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said it was an interesting. It was definitely an office move. I was almost proud of you how shitty it was.
But they had a 6 million. But we had discussed as far as overall viewership in television in general, the loss of. Sure. Everything being down, but 649,000. So last night's key competition, technically, I mean, it was the playoffs. Was the NBA playoffs were on last night with the Suns, right, beating the Clippers, and they're going to the NBA Finals now. AEW Dynamite YouTube this past Saturday was down though. It only had 1,700,000 views, and that was down from 2.6 million the week before.
Wow, 25%.
Yep, the most viewed video, Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy, which had 320,000 views. The least viewed video was Miro's promo about him being God's favorite champion. That only had 55,000 average viewership.
Interesting. How about that? I'm sorry to cut you off because we'll come back to it when he has his match tonight. But did you hear what they put over on commentary that he has a Christ complex, a Messiah complex? That's interesting to me. And what they were setting up, I don't think they knew it, and they just decided to go down that route, and it just had my brain working. I thought that was interesting. And who was the Russian oligarch that thought he was the same Messiah complex? I can't remember which Alexander it was or what have you. There's been plenty of fucking like drama, shitty Highlander style things about him, but that to pull from. I like that. You know what I mean? So there can be some very, very cool stuff that I think he could get over.
Matt, prior to Saturday, they were doing in the 400s on the Friday Dynamites, right?
Yeah, so prior to Saturday, the average was June 18th, they did 552,000. The 11th, 487,000. The 4th, 462,000. And the 26th, 526,000. That's when they started. It was on the 26th. So that's the
Raw 1.57, lowest non-holiday ever. Only Memorial Day was lower.
So, granted that they had a better time slot on the Saturday Dynamite. I believe it started at 8 p.m. as opposed to 10 p.m.
And
do you think that Omega's match with Jungle Boy and its build was the reason for that drastic spike from the people that didn't view on Fridays to the people that watched Saturday Dynamite?
I think personally, more people were probably home Saturday night than Sunday. Sorry, Friday. Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you think Omega and Jungle Boy had anything to do with the jump?
Not even a little bit. Not even that's not must-see TV for any wrestling fan. Nobody's going, I cannot miss Jungle Boy. I can't miss a Jungle Boy match. I'm fucking diehard. Come on, Brand. Like that's all about Friday night. We're going out to dinner and we're going to fucking go do whatever. And fuck that. I'm not sitting home. I've been home all week. I've been home all year. Saturday, people recovering, doing whatever.
See, I think it did, man. I've been following the show as close as you guys, and the build had a few bumps, but looking back, I did get excited throughout the build to see it, and I was excited to see the match, and I appreciated it after it was done. So I have a feeling a lot of fans might have shared my same sentiments. I don't know.
I want you to go to Walmart, pick 20 people, and say, "What do you think of Jungle Boy?" See what they say.
Clearly, with them doing 600,000, every other person in Walmart ain't gonna have any idea what I'm talking about. But it would be an interesting study to just go to people in Walmart and ask them to tell me about Jungle Boy.
I think 0 of 20 are gonna know who the fuck Jungle Boy is.
I think if you play the song, they'll know.
Can you get me one of those like Kimmel S traveling mic operations? I'll go to Walmart and do the report.
Lab, Mike. There's no doubt we can do stand on the street.
Silvio on the street.
Street. Billy on the street. Street.
One of the few things I actually do.
Hello?
One of the few things I do like on Netflix. So yes, AEW Dynamite. Let's actually get into it then here. AEW Dynamite from June the 30th, the end of the month, 2021. We started off with Chris Jericho being announced on commentary. I was excited when I heard that. I was like, sweet, Chris is going to be on commentary. Match starts off with the Young Bucks once again. They're becoming the openers here over the last month or so, getting things started off as we have Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo versus with Alex Abrahantes versus the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Magnum PIs, the Young Bucks, and Brandon Cutler. And the reference I'm there is if you saw last night, the new outfits of the Young Bucks were just amazing. You had Nick come out, now his hair's blonde. He's got a dyed black goatee. And Matt is rocking a black stash. So they look like they are from the 80s and they've been hanging out on the Florida beaches. Now they're really looking like they're hanging out in Jacksonville, Florida. I enjoyed it. Thought it was funny. It plays well into their heel gimmick. Well, match starts out.
Do you think they're taking that? Like, I mean, the porn stash thing or whatever, Sil, but do you think they saw the Outrunners?
It's very possible.
I think
those guys are fucking money.
Yeah, I think they did too, bro. I think they saw it and took it. It's great. And the Outrunners do it great too. And even in the tag match, those guys will be good when the Bucks change again. But boy, that feels like a lot of very similar shit to me. But yeah, these asshole porn mustaches are a great switch up.
Good ideas are thought of, great ideas are stolen. The gimmick here tonight, right, was if Kingston and Penta win, then they get a future title shot against Matt and Nick Jackson. I thought this was a good match. Why is my phone? Sorry about that. Sorry, that was fine. My iPhone's connected to stuff, so it's going off. So the match starts off with Kingston and Penta. Again, if they win, they get a future title shot. Penta hits a drop kick off the second rope off the backside of Matt, and they get an early pin attempt as well with Kingston. This match goes back and forth. Give it a commercial break. Come back from commercial. Continues on. Eventually, we see for the first time in over a year, Matt and Nick Jackson lose as Frankie Kazarian, the elite hunter, comes out in the middle of Cutler trying to spray Penta with some cold spray. Gets Matt instead as Frankie Kazarian shows up, takes care of Cutler. Penta hits a dive on 3 people onto the floor, and then he hits the Fear Factor on Matt, and then Kingston wins with his spinning back fists for the cover. What'd you think, Silvio?
That Cutler spot was pretty funny.
Very funny.
I was wondering why he kept spraying, and then as he kept spraying Matt in the eyes, I realized like his body language, he was trying to show like he's nervous.
I can't believe I'm doing it.
Yeah. And then when Frankie Kazarian clotheslines Cutler on the floor, Brandon's just got an arm in the air spraying. I thought that was fucking genius. That was hilarious. Other funny part of this match is on the front end, the Young Bucks do a combination where they put down Penta and they do a double fist drop. They kick up to their feet and start air humping. Then we see Eddie Kingston come in the ring to protest to the referee the humping, and Eddie's, acting out the motion they were doing to complain about it. I thought that was
I do that when I have that. That's a fun spot. It always gets a great reaction from the crowds too. And be like, and then if you have a referee, it's a very house show spot thing to do. So they did it fast and it worked. But you have them do that, then you go to the ref and do, no, he is humping. I can't have him humping. And then the ref's like, I didn't see him do any humping at all. And the ref didn't humping ever. Don't you hump at me. Now you're humping. No, I wasn't humping at you. I was showing how he was humping. And then like you can just keep ratcheting that up until you turn around and the baby face is there and standing up and you look at him, what? And he humps the air. God damn it. And then he punches you in the face and you fucking go down and he gets the final hump on you. And then he humps over you again. So those spots are fucking gloriously easy to work a crowd. And once you do that, their ticket price is paid. You gave them the laugh. You gave them the bit. They fucking love it. No bump is going to take them higher. Because when they're in the car on the way home, they're going to go, what'd you like, Johnny? Oh, I like this match, and I like Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega, but my favorite thing was when they were humping and then the ref was humping. Oh, that was the best. They'll remember that forever. More than any bump that anybody ever fucking took. Because everybody's just saying yes and to the game and the idea and playing it out to their true part of their character in it. The ref doesn't need to go into business for himself. He's just doing it and saying yes to the game. And it can be glorious. I hate to shit on this because there was so much great fun stuff in there. And Nick Jackson blows me away with how he's changing himself, just the assholism stage picture of how they're supposed to be heels. There was so many soft little kicks in here from him, so many bad strikes, and a lot of like when they're hitting Kingston, he's on the ropes. It's like, on his back, it's that fucking hard, bro. You can't. It's his back. Lay that shit in there. Fucking drill me across the way you got kick pads on and anything to make that shit look real. And then there's another spot where Kingston feeds in for a super kick, takes one right on the jaw, no hand up, and fucking shakes it off and goes no. Then takes 2 more and gets knocked down. I hate it. I fucking hate that shit, bro. Like whatever that like. Out of everything they do that's unbelievable, do that. What I really like, Sil, and it was safe, Pentagon's coming back and he does the fucking off the ropes corkscrew code red.
Fuck yeah.
So he's fucking up and over one way, then looking the other and hits it. Super safe. I would take that all day. It looked so good. The other thing with Kingston, and this is where a guy who's been on the indies his whole career, where he's so polished on the mic, so believable and passionate about what he's saying, and this is his shot, doesn't know how to work for TV. He's doing the spots with fucking Penta, and he's facing at the entrance, where if he was turned around, we could see everything that's going on. There was 2 or 3 times he was way out of position for what the spot calls for it to be shot on TV, and we're getting the worst angle of it all. So Mark Henry would be great in a spot like this to really be like, let me fine tune your stuff, bro, on how to do it. Because here's where we need you on the floor. And let me show you on tape, because he might not even be realizing what's going on. I'm sure Eddie Kingston's enough of a student of the game. He's watching his shit back.
Oh yeah.
But, there's a couple things there that are really, we got to stop. Why do strikes if you're going to lay them in like a fucking toddler? I hate it.
See, I didn't notice that. I was paying attention to Matt Jackson, who I was impressed with some of his gear changes. There were a few times where when Matt Jackson got back on top after the babyface did a little something, he was throwing with everything he had, and they looked like legit strikes. So that was good to see from Matt.
And there's a time to work against the camera like that, and Matt was doing it where he covers Eddie's face, and you see Matt's back, and it's these punches coming down, so you never see him making contact with the head, but Eddie's legs should be selling that he's getting fucking whapped right there. Sure. However, in a hold or a submission style thing or a pin, we got to see it the other way, 180. Nobody does this better than Serena Deeb. You can watch her get somebody in the stretch muffler or any of that shit that she's going to do. And everybody is set up to be able to sell and show the offense in action at the same time. That's a big problem with hiring a lot of indie guys who aren't trained for TV.
Sure. I thought everybody shined bright in this one. Eddie had tons of fire. Pentagon was insane. That move you mentioned, the twisting code red. He also did a quesadora on one of the Bucks, a wheelbarrow roll through, caught the other one in a DDT. I don't think I've seen that before. That was pretty nasty. The Bucks did a great job. Cutler did a great job. The Bucks are fucking big match machines, man. What I really liked about this is that the Bucks lost. So now it goes back to the point I make every week on this show. Now when we have Young Bucks matches on TV, there's a chance of them getting beat. So the audience is going to be more invested than they were if we never saw the Young Bucks lose on TV. So
here's one thing though, about this is week 5, 6. The Bucks have opened the show in a tag match. We gotta switch up formats from that with putting anybody in there. But you know what I mean? Like going to the well one too many times right now. I think we're right at that point. Next week, we got to have a new way to open the show.
How would you feel about opening the show with 2 guys in the ring and the bell rings every once in a while?
How about coming into the show with a match already in progress?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
WCW used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to WCW. Yeah, exactly. I like that.
And you do it right when the guy's coming up from his for his comeback. You right out of something and he fucking lights him up, and now you're starting with high action and a fucking quick win and the crowd pop and energy's up in 90 seconds. That's all you need. Why not?
Yeah. Interesting.
So following that, Christian Cage is backstage with the Jungle Boy. He tells him that he's proud of him, that he took Kenny Omega to the brink. He believes that Jungle Boy is one day going to be a champion as well. Says there, in life, you don't lose. You can either win, or you can learn. And he tells him, go out there tonight, and you've got an opportunity for another monumental moment in your career to be the first person ever to get 50 wins in AEW. And Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt show up. Marco Stunt was there the whole time. He just popped up out of behind of Jungle Boy like that. Oh, there he is. And then Luchasaurus thanks Christian for having his back. Says that going forward he'll have Christian's back as well. And Christian then jokes about having some dinosaur gene in his mother's side. I'm a quarter of this, or some sort of cosmic space dinosaur. And then Luchasaurus like, oh, me too. And then they walked out. What'd you think, Silvio?
I was indifferent to this one. If they don't have Christian eventually turn heel on Jungle, I don't think I know wrestling anymore.
Right.
But it was interesting interaction with the dinosaur and Christian.
Did you like the dinosaur Christian interaction, Corey Treverson?
I got weirded out and laughed when he gave him the little gay touch on the shoulder.
It was a little
Jungle Boy.
Dude, Christian's putting him over, and Jungle Boy doesn't even have a line. He just goes.
Thought that was a little weird too.
So weird. And then we say yes and of the game. Christian can do comedy. He's phenomenal at comedy. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that. So to get Dino gimmick over, and all we needed was a little pop up from Marco. It worked, and they go off with the absurd. My mother was a quarter centaurus, and and we know it's funny. It's wrestle crap. I really didn't have a problem with this scene. Christian's promo was solid enough to tell him if he keeps at it, he can be the first guy in the 50 wins club. That's good stuff. It's just shine from a legend to this kid, but gay touch was my favorite.
The touch thing is hysterical. Last
It was real. That's not something that's put in there like, I'm going to do it now. Like, it was awkward. He knew he didn't have any lines. He was just trying to say yes and thank you, but he didn't know where to get his line in. And he went to make a move. Then he softened on the move instead of being like, thanks, bro, and saying it and being in the moment. And it came off as one of those, we're going to go shake hands. We're going to fist bump. We're going to, okay, we'll get it right next time. Like, I love that human nature. Those are little weirdest moments right there.
I was going to say last night at work, I was dusting and I had one of the dusters, and I only did this with one of my guys I work with because I know he'd be okay with it. And I walked up to him just like he's in the middle of typing, and I just like slowly started like dusting his mouse. So like just looking at him like all straight, like just dusting his mouse.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Awkward moments you make. Well, after that, we didn't get an awkward moment. We got Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he's interviewing Ethan Page as he prepares to take on Darby Allin in a coffin match. That's the big thing they're promoting here as far as their encounter. So Tony brings up Page as challenging Darby Allin in a coffin match and asks why that match. And Page says, what? Well, what he's been doing to Allin is not enough. His goal is to exterminate him because he's trying to cripple Allin on the indies, or he's tried to on the indies and AEW, but clearly that's not enough. Crowd really giving it to Ethan Page as far as like a feedback, some heat here on the Page. Says every time Allin does a coffin drop going forward, he's going to think of Page. Then Sting comes out, pulls out a coffin behind him, and then we go to a quick video package of Allin using a flamethrower on a coffin. He even had at one point like a mask of Page's, and he pulled off his face. And all of a sudden the video package ends and Sting pulls off the blanket, and Allin jumps out of the coffin, leaps into the ring, goes after him. Sting takes care of a Scorpio Sky, and then Allin digs his black fingernails in the eyes of Page. Page finally gets out of the ring, and then he gets on the mic, and he says that the match is off, that the only way the match is going to continue now is next week we have to sign a contract, or basically we have to sign a contract 1 week before the match, and if he's good, maybe then they can have a match at Fyter Fest in 2 or 3 weeks. So that's the new stipulation they're moving forward with, is that Ethan Page is going to require Darby Allin to sign a
I think they missed here.
Non-physical confrontation clause. Go ahead.
If you're going to have a casket match, that means the symbology is what? That you're killing the guy and burying him, right?
Yep.
Why an old contract? Well, they had an opportunity to do something here and have some, in and out insurance guy who they fucking they each put a policy on the other person that they're going to win. And if that person dies, then they get a $250,000 payout, fucking life insurance policy.
If this ends like with, I don't know, Ethan Page like beating the crap out of Allin, taking his blood, and then signing the contract on a casket, does that work a little bit better?
That'd be interesting. I don't know if Page is that dark yet. However, in this, we saw that now Page has to get serious retribution on the babyface, even though he has thrown him into the wall, like he said, down the steps, The retribution for that fucking Darby got here was almost too much, because he's got fingernails, Lee press-on nails that he painted, and now he's getting eye rake heat, which we didn't do anything to Darby's eyes. We didn't fucking try and blind Darby. If we did that, then the eye rake heat means something in retribution. Here, Darby's just fucking clawing his face, which is very vicious heel heat. For a baby face, he needs to hit him with his finisher, and fucking maybe it's a bigger bump that he goes off and through the table or something. But to do that makes Darby the heel. Now I want fucking him to get retribution on Darby's eyes because of what he did. It was the wrong heat to work right here, dude. Very interesting. Because the empathy is now on Page. It's not on Darby. Or he could show up with a flamethrower and lit him on fire. That would have been interesting too.
I don't share your sentiments on this one, Hamin, and it's possibly because Darby and I are similar in stature. So Page is big. He threw him out of the ring, did the Spike Dudley spot. He threw him down steps. He's imposing comparatively to Darby. So there are only a certain amount of things that you can, if you believably, so let's say you and I, Hamin, with our size differences, are trying to convince an audience that the struggle we're having is believable, then it's up to us to think of, okay, what are conceivable ways that I could get the upper hand on you? One would be catching you with the punch when you're not looking. One would be somehow taking out your leg, going to your balls, hitting you in the eye. So I thought it was actually smart of Darby. He jumped and choked him from behind. Then when he went down, he fucking scratched and clawed. I dug it. I thought it was cool. Only thing I didn't like was that Paige had to then no-sell it to do this promo. I thought he should have just ran away holding his eyes. He should have been
gone. I agree. That should have been it right there. So it did bury it.
And then the other thing I just don't like is when the wrestlers make matches and change. Like, that's not something he should have control. Every time they're like, oh, GM Tony Khan just announced this, this, and this. Like, he doesn't get to say, no, we're going to push the match for a week. Like, no, the match was going to fucking happen. You're a wrestler.
The interesting part of what they've set up and that they don't use, and I'm surprised because Tony Khan loves being on camera like the rest of us, is why don't they use those? I mean, they're not doing them anymore because the sound bites are too good for Russo for Better Call Cons. But that's where they need to use those media scrums as working the fucking crowd, set that stuff up for the next week for TV where Khan can make those instead of I talk to Khan backstage as the excuse. And that's why, well, that I could say that about anything. Hey, sure. I talked to Tony Khan and I got a fucking main event match next week. I'm going to show up and fucking do that. You know, and if it was you and I'd talk that shit, turn around and fucking do something small to get off balance, have you rocking me, and then I come back over, you grab me by the beard, lead me around, jump over the top rope on the apron. Does he want it? No, don't do it. And then you jump and I take the big throat bump on the fucking top rope and sell the shit out of that, and I'll come out with the neck brace the next week and the whole nine. And I have to cut my beard for my own personal safety purposes.
I like it.
I like it. Maybe you should cut your beard.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, maybe that'll get you booked.
Now he got his hair down. He's letting his hair down today.
He's mad that I said he is fucking like Adam Cole. He's still bitter about it.
Hey, if I was like Adam Cole, I'd be making more money. Jack Evans versus Jungle Boy. If Jungle Boy wins tonight, as we mentioned, it'll be his 50th win. First AEW wrestler to reach that number. They didn't really make a big deal out of it until the interview before, but it's a big thing. Mat Wrestling guys, they just kind of stayed inside the ring for most of the match a little bit, and then it kind of went to the outside and it got a little crazy. But Jungle Boy locks in the snare trap for the tap out, and he gets his 50th win. So Jungle Boy, by submission.
I had an interesting idea after that 50th win promo, and I was like, man, we missed the fun. Maybe we could do it for the next 50. But first to 50 should have been $50,000 bonus. Wouldn't have that been an awesome incentive? 50 grand, first to 50 wins, bro. Like if there's a new startup company, somebody should do that. First to 50 and fucking that would, and they get paid the regular shit, but to have the pomp and circumstance and the fucking the check mark player name
makes sense. Stop it.
Yeah,
Stop
sorry.
It. So
I didn't. It's not like I had the idea before last night. It was really that Christian promo, but then this match. This is where AEW sucks. Is you do that promo. Now we got Jungle Boy who's in the main event on Saturday versus who? Jack Evans. Why you don't even need to watch.
That goes well into your media scrum idea too. Like I could see similar to UFC, Tony Khan doing bonuses on some of the scrums, like match of the night. I decided fucking FTR versus Bucks.
Well, that's what Dana's doing.
Yeah,
that's what Dana's doing, right?
Yep.
Knockout
bonus.
bonus
Out of the night, fucking Britt Baker. You know.
Well, Martinez or. Yeah, dude. That was based off of their creative, and I wonder if anybody else thought the same thing. Group.
Oh, I like that because then you can get sponsors involved as well, and then you've got the McDonald's knockout of the night, and whoever gets it gets a free blah 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 to McDonald's meal or whatever it is. So then, like you get the sponsor to pay out the wrestler, and then they can go.
You could work the whole thing if you do the thing. Taco Bell, like every fucking ballpark does. If somebody hits a home run, fucking everybody gets a free taco tonight. If he submits him with whatever the fuck tonight, then everybody's gonna get a free taco. You just have to go to Taco Bell and say Kenny Omega, and fucking how many people on the ride home maybe but across the globe, you just work it with Taco Bell saying that we're doing this promotion on whatever with them. And Kenny Omega is the code word for this week. Anybody who says it gets a free fucking taco. Big deal.
I like it.
That's a great idea, Matt.
Yeah, something.
As far as the match, I love the finish. So Jack Evans goes for a spider German suplex off the top. Jungle Boy backflips, lands on his feet, puts him in the snare trap. I got to say this. This match was awesome. I loved it.
He puts him in the what?
Snare. Sorry, the bear trap. And he gets a submission. I loved this match. I thought it was awesome. It was quick. It was well-paced. And Jack Evans knew what his role in this match was.
Sure.
To fucking make Jungle Boy look like $1 million, give him his 50th win while still being credible. I loved it. This was one of my favorite matches of the night.
It was a good match, but you knew the outcome before the bell ever rang. Sure. So, like right away.
But they did it so well, I was cool with it.
Okay, I'm with you. It was good. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but it's just like, on the sheet, if I can look at the sheet and go, no surprises here, if I was to hand that to an audience member and they knew, like, that to me says we got work to do in making our like shows better. We can highlight a guy better than that. That's a C-level choice to me.
Interesting. Well, let's go to the post-match as HFO and Jurassic Express hit the ring. Eventually, Hardy and Christian battle in the center of the ring, and then Christian hits the kill switch on Hardy, chokes him out with his own jacket, and then Jack Evans gets back in to pull Christian away from Hardy. Then we get MJF. He's got a promo backstage vignette. I thought this was really good. Like there was a couple times I was listening to him. I forgot it was MJF even talking, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's how good his voice is. Like it sounded naturally. It didn't sound like he was being a wrestler. So he says he's been outclassed and dethroned by Chris Jericho over the last couple months. Feels like Jericho is smart enough to know when he's been bested and decide to step away. Says instead Jericho has doubled down and decided to make a joke out of MJF. MJF says Jericho's actually the joke though. He was once the best, but now he has stooped so low with his recent action. MJF says next week he will give Jericho the stipulations he has to go through to get a shot at MJF. If they do have a match and Jericho loses, he has to leave MJF alone forever. You can't leave me alone forever. MJF switches gears to Sammy Guevara and it says tonight he's going to embarrass him as well. What do you think of this promo, Ben?
I agree. The naturalness of it was phenomenal. I mean, this kid's been on TV since he was 6 years old. That's what 10,000 hour rule and reps look like. I forgot that we had Jericho on commentary the whole time. We haven't really talked about that. That in the beginning of the show, they go, we know you're out here for the main event, Sammy versus MJF. I go, out here for the main event, the show? He's kicked off the show. So that was fucking comically stupid. And a lot of times through the night, Jericho is doing the rib on wrestling. Like it's good when he sells for fucking what's his name with the Bucks with the spray. Cutler, you idiot, stop spraying him while it's going on too much. Like, but sometimes when it's the real fight, he kind of does those bits a little bit too, and it draws away from what's going on. He's not going into business for himself, but it makes wrestling very tongue-in-cheek and very fucking, we know you're watching phony sports. Like it's a little bit of that. But yeah, dude, MJF, he's got all the and he knows, and things like this. I think, and Khan even said it. We're not scripting our guys out. Guys who can cut a promo can. Here's the business. Go for it. And that's where I want to be, and that's how I want to be used as an artist. And that's what they're doing here. And these are the kind of performances you get when you do that.
Just look at the difference in promos between any WWE brand, including NXT, and something like this.
Adam Cole's the only one close. Adam Cole's the only one who can get this close.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. I agree with you. All of those other promos, they just sound like a bad Hollywood script. Where this is authentic and it came across. MJF's a great promo. Just fucking let him be. I don't know when and why we got into that with everybody. I understand scripting out stuff for people that can't come up with their own content, but why we got on this kick of feeling we needed to write for everybody.
See Charlotte, Dana, and Mandy Rose in their thing where it was like line, bullshit, line.
I can't watch them.
Bullshit line. Oh, and you know about me, bitch? Line, bullshit line. Scene, go to the ring. Like, oh,
It's unwatchable. Unwatchable.
Brutal. It's one improv, bro, but it's scripted. It's not even improv. Ugh.
Yeah, it's unwatchable. They have some very good wrestlers there, so I can watch a lot of the matches and appreciate the workers. But any talking segment is just unwatchable to me in WWE programming.
Maybe an MVP can get something over and put some light into it, but everything.
But I have
else.
such a sour taste. I don't care. You could give me fucking Ric Flair in his prime, and I'd tune it out.
Well, even you're getting 2 minutes, but then you're going to get something brilliant. Well, what kills it is you're going to get 4 things that are way over scripted and shitty to remind you that only that guy gets carte blanche. Everybody else is a fucking idiot who's got to fall in line. Okay.
Here's one too. Even AEW is kind of guilty of. One of my faux pas in WWE is the faces of the ladies that announce. They'll ask a serious question like, Ben Hameen, why did you set Matt Schaffer-Gage on fire last week? And then they'll kind of like smile and hold the mic and keep a neutral expression no matter what is said. It is so not human and not normal interaction. That lady in AEW, is it Dasha that does the backstage sometimes? Yeah. She tries to do the same thing, just that neutral, weird, like smiley face. Why did you kill John Moxley?
There's no like I don't know, caution. I mean, if you're going to talk to somebody who just did that, your response, hey,
there's no danger. You don't feel like you're in a bad.
Why you burned John Moxley last week?
And no response to what they just said, no matter how abhorrent it is.
Or trying to be a reporter with integrity. I'm Alicia A. Tout, and I'm here. I'm here. I want to get the scoop on why John Moxley was burned last week. Let's see if we can find out. And there's nothing. It's just like, now look at me on Instagram in my purple dress, you guys. I'm so sexy. Like, fucking, where's those stiff forearms when you fucking need them? You know what I mean?
We're live on the scene. We're going to talk to the sheriff. Mr. Sheriff, people died. Can you tell us about it?
Even that would be more than what we're getting. Now, let me ask you, would you have another blonde bisexual of the week, Mike Holder, do that? Or would you have a made guy who can actually do the job like Tony Schiavone, and then people come out and just take the mic away from him every week?
Neither.
You got to choose one, because now
if I have to pick one, I'll take people taking the mic out of Tony's.
Okay, at least Shivani's around, right? Right.
Like, you guys remember like when Mean Gene or like Shivani would like scold the heels, like, okay, come on, you got to be kidding me.
You
can't say that. Yeah, exactly. Why the fuck can't we ever get that? Set a guy on fire, smile.
Because no little Dolly is ever going to stand up to fucking a giant Bobby Lashley and go, oh, will you stop, Bobby? That's where you need a guy like a Mean Gene who, if you beat the shit out of Mean Gene, what are you? You're nothing. You're like, it's not even heel heat. You're just a piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? So Mean Gene has that force field around him, but he can still scold you like your grandfather. I don't want to hear that kind of language in this house. You know what I mean? That's all we need is somebody with that integrity. And there's plenty of legends out there that fit that bill.
Lance Russell in Memphis was phenomenal about it. Go back and watch some of the old Lawler stuff from Memphis. He was awesome, Lance Russell. And I think women can do this. Like, there's some badass news anchors that have a lot of fire, right, and journalists that you see on the news every day. So instead of Dasha necessarily bowing up, they could say something like, all right, we're cutting this interview short. I'm not going to have the heel's lying about something. We're not going to have our viewers subject to this. We're out of time.
Beautiful.
Thank you for your time. Just something. Humanness.
All right, now it's time for our weekly segment to see if I could pronounce names correctly. Alex Abrahantes was backstage, and he's talking with Andrade El Idolo.
As close as you've come yet. Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm getting better. Andrade says he was ready last week, but Matt Sydal interrupted him. Andrade says how he and Matt face off next week in the ring in Miami. I'm excited for that match, actually. That looks pretty cool.
Why are we doing this backwards?
They should be building it, though, yeah.
No, we just did it back.
Oh.
Who walked in on whose fucking interview?
Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade's getting an interview. Matt walks in. That is heat. So it should be Matt getting interviewed about his big win last week. Congratulations, you've been on a roll. You're back in. Who's in your sights? And he started. Well, I'd really like to get in the ring with that. And you don't got to worry about them. I say you got to worry about Andrade El Idolo. I'm the motherfucker from across the border that's come to whoop that ass. And he walks into the scene and takes the spot. That is the heat. They don't even know how to book simple.
I would have preferred that.
And God love Matty. Why is he not going? Let's just switch this.
Idolo, Andrade El Idolo. Thank you.
That's very easygoing, cat.
I know, but let's take care of our business to the highest order. Matty should know that that's not a baby face thing to do, to walk in and interrupt somebody's shit. Love them, but I got to point out the fucking basics of wrestling, man.
Yeah, but also Andrade interrupted first because I believe the way it broke down was
interrupt every time.
Sydal's opponent walked to the ring, and before Matt could come out, Andrade came out. So like Andrade was interrupting the match in progress, and then they stopped interrupting.
And then Matt healed on him by walking by him and not fucking doing nothing. So Matt, in my opinion, has gotten twice as much heat on Andrade as Andrade has gotten on
Good. I hope that means they're going to put Matt over him. He's top 5 in the rankings now. There you
go. So after that, we go back to the ring again. Now we've got Tony Schiavone. He introduces AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. Omega makes up a story about Tony asking him how he stays motivated each day. I like this. You asked me, yeah, you stay motivated each day. Omega says he woke up today feeling like a king. He has beat the toughest guy in AEW, the greatest high flyer in AEW, the greatest athlete, the top merch seller, and the young up-and-comer. Omega says with no one left, he's going to take some time off, but he has plenty of titles to defend elsewhere. Schiavone points out, I never asked you any of those things. And then the Dark Order music hits and they come out. Evil Uno gets on the mic. He says if he heard Omega right about not having any other challengers, Omega laughs and wonders if he means 5, tells him to bounce since none of them are even close to being ranked high enough to face him. Uno says you're right, but Omega does know someone that he was very good friends with, the #1 ranked wrestler in AEW. He goes on to say, you know somebody you very well, you've tagged with, worked with, right? And a friend. And Omega says he doesn't think that the person would appreciate Uno talking for him, nor does he have the guts to face him. Omega doesn't think Hangman Page himself thinks he's worthy of holding up the title. And then Omega does his good night and good luck bit, bang, and then he leaves. What do you think, Corey? Did you like it? What did you like? Did you like? Did you like at least they dangled it? Hangman did.
I liked Omega's promo here. I did like it, dude.
I like that Hangman didn't come out either.
Yeah, but Omega leaves and all of fucking Dark Order look, they're just sitting there with their dick in their hand. And I'm like, you got 6 dudes, get on the motherfucker. And the stuff backstage with them where they're like, you told us to believe in ourselves, Hangman Page. You're the real
Disney moment yet.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you guys are a cult that was under Brody, who should be running things and trying to recruit people. Now they look like fucking just, I guess as a cult, they are followers. So they're looking for a new leader, but Hangman, they're just a weight around Hangman's neck at this point, bro. Like he needs to really break out as a top star. And those guys really need to find their voice as a crew that is Dark Order. And if they're going to break out Johnny Hungry, then let him go too. And let's absolve this thing. But I don't like scenes like this because we had something and then we just leave it on a like, huh? Like that's not how I like to resolve a scene. But I thought Omega's promo was good.
Before you jump in, I normally don't sell for the chat room, but how dare you compare AEW being written for South Park fans? South Park fans are a lot different than AEW, and South Park has better overall storylines and character continuity over the last 4 seasons. They've built depth within their characters. They have good jokes. It's good satire. It's not even close. It has structure. But I appreciate you chiming in. Let's see if you can we'll get to that as well. But yes, the Young Bucks have been pretty good with their bios the last couple weeks.
Oh man. Okay, so this segment, I agree. Omega had a good promo. Jericho had a nice burn on Omega. I don't know if you guys caught this, but when the Dark Order came out, Omega's, saying you guys can't match up. And he says, who's going to wrestle me? 5? You couldn't last 2 minutes with me. And Jericho on commentary goes, he lasted 10 minutes with you last year. And if you guys recall, that was a match I was furious about because this was before he was in Dark Order, when he was just indie guy Allin Angels, and Kenny Omega had a 50-50 match that went 10 minutes with him. And my mind just exploded. So I thought it was pretty hilarious that Jericho dug it to him a little bit on that. As far as the Dark Order's involvement, I didn't know what to feel when they walked out. It looked like they were going to set up Uno, which was going to make my mind explode. No offense to him. He's a perfectly fine wrestler. Mm-hmm. But I did notice the crowd chanting Colt Cabana, which was interesting. We didn't get that. But since Hamin's already tied together the pre-tape later with the Dark Order giving Hangman a pep talk, that's when I had it with the segment. every time we get Hangman to look cool again, gone right away, just gone. Taking it. Imagine like DX, like Shawn and Chyna and Hunter when they were first getting the thing over and being dirty, and then the next week they're hanging around with Molly Holly. All of that heat we just got and the suckets and all that. We got it. Why did he need those 7 men to be his spokesman? Why are they cheering him on?
Like that, like they're all back at the hotel going, guys, how can we get Hangman over and not ourselves? No,
it was nerdy. It was Scooby-Doo.
It was way Scooby-Doo and nerdy. You're 100% on that.
It should have been more like jacked up gym guys. You want to fucking fight? You want to be? It should have been something like more like that, not very Disney-esque.
You got one guy out there with no backup. You got 6, 7 guys. What are you going to do?
I mean, Kenny Omega should have gone the opposite way to the ring.
Physical stage picture. What are you going to do when those guys hit the? What should those 7 guys do when they hit the ring?
Well, they should have
circle them
and surround them. Instead, they stand in line like a fucking boys' choir.
Yeah, you're right. They should have circled him, and Uno should have been the only one in the ring talking at that point.
Exactly, and fucking a guy on each corner so Kenny can't escape. Guy at the ramp, and fucking Uno in there as the spokesman. And then maybe they actually get fucking heat on him. And then Paige could say, that's not what I want, you guys. This is not how I want to do this. Fuck that, bro. We had to send a message. You know what I mean? Instead, everybody looks like a total fucking little doofus at the end of this.
So I do want to point out, I know we talked about it last week. We thought the show was produced well. There was some camera production issues tonight. In that opening match with the Young Bucks putting the bandana on Michael Nakazawa, I was getting frustrated. I didn't know what angle they were trying to choose. And then there was a point, I think, when Omega was in the ring and the Dark Order initially came out, there was kind of some kerfuffle like on camera too. And I was like, why are they going to the shot? Anyway, I just pointing things out because that's my job. But I just thought that there's still some things to be worked on.
They got on him during the fucking Ethan Page thing. It came through TV fine or the boosted stream fine, but the first whole 2/3 of his promo, I don't think was going to the arena, and they were all going, "We can't hear you." And then there was also a "you fucked up" chant that they scrambled, which I think is a bad idea. They should keep those. When the ref fucking supposedly counted 3 on the falsie in the main.
It's cable TV. I don't know why they would have blurred that out. It's not prime time. Anyway, so they go back, says Brian Pillman talks about having friends that were like family growing up. Him and Griff Garrison is one of them. When Miro attacked Garrison, he just showed that he's nothing but a bully and a big Bulgarian bitch. So that's another person using bitch. I mean, look, if you're going to say I'm that bitch, then she needs the only one in the company to say bitch, right? Like that should be her thing. Nobody else should be even saying the word bitch.
Right. Right.
Miro versus Brian Pillman taking on AEW champion for the AEW championship. I'm sorry. Miro, of course. We kind of knew going in, I think that Miro was going to pick up the victory on this, as they've been building him as this Messiah, the guy with the Messiah complex, right? He amps himself up at the end, locks it in, and he goes for the pin. I just want to do as well. There were some funny parts in here in the match. You had Jericho on commentary. Him and Tony Schiavone were yelling back and forth. I have a clip here. I thought this was funny. Anyway, get one. It's pretty good. So yeah, some good stuff there in that match. But Miro gets the win by referee stoppage as Pillman goes to sleep.
You know on your Rodecaster Pro that you can go through the Bluetooth and.
I do. I just haven't set that up with the Bluetooth. Yeah,
all right.
I don't use it, so.
That's why I just use all that for all my music, SmackDown Live self-help group.
Yeah, normally I try to pre-pro when I do a lot of roadcasts. I mean, since we had that last conversation, I have 64 sounds now on the board, but I haven't really hooked the Bluetooth. So that was, I should do that. You're right. My bad. Anyway,
you don't have these sounds.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to copy. That'd be weird. I already copied meat on meat. Silvio, what did you think of this match?
I thought Miro made Brian Pillman Jr. and then beat him with this finish. I thought it was very well done, very good business. Pillman was fired up like a motherfucker, especially later in the match when he did the Jericho drop kick and then that sick-looking drop kick through the ropes. He brought his A game. He gave everything he fucking had. And Miro was very giving in this one. And he wasn't giving to the point where it exposed Miro or exposed wrestling. He gave him in a credible manner offense, and then he beat him with his finish. I thought it was interesting that they didn't have Brian tap out. So that's telling me that they're probably looking to continue to build him. But I thought Miro did a great job of making Brian Pillman a made man and someone credible, even through defeat. Did you catch that at all? I mean, do you think he made Pillman?
Favorite match of the night.
There you
go. This had me feeling like I was in fucking 9th grade again watching WCW, man. You know what I mean? And see this kid get hired as a second generation, to see the dark side of the rings, know that he's Rip Rogers and OVW trained, as well as plenty others watching out for him. Move slow, waited and wait, and looked like the baby face who's intimidated, who's not going to make a move on a giant heel that could backfire. Miro did give him a lot more than I thought he was going to, and it fucking made him. It really did. In my opinion, this was Brian Pillman's best match of his career that I've seen on TV. I'm sure on the indies he's had some bangers, but as far as getting business done to get Miro over with a guy that everybody wants to love coming off of that dark side of the ring, this was perfect to get heat for Miro. And I think choking him out was the right call, as much as I don't like the way that they're taking a shitty version of the camel clutch and after it got botched, turn it into something. I guess there's a gift in everything, so I'm fine with that. But Pillman getting choked out keeps, this is sound weird, keeps him strong, because tapping out is giving up to something. Staying strong means I'll even if I'm going out here, you didn't tap me, and you have now you have that card to play. So really great fighting spirit, and that's all he needed. And he's starting to look more and more like a man instead of a boy every week. And this really felt like Flying Brian 1994 to me, 95. And it was, and I enjoyed the trip back in time.
Well, following that, the Dark Order, the hangout we already talked about, but just to give the full breakdown, Heyman.
All right, and I like the Messiah thing. That had me creatively really going, and the way Miro's looking up, that's all he had to do. And now we're some places. The best acting we do,
we say nothing.
And he didn't have to say a motherfucking word.
So we already did review it, but there was the Dark Order Dark Order hangout. Hangman walked in, wasn't happy with the group. He asked them what they're doing, challenging Omega on his behalf. Stu Grayson says Paige didn't exactly stop them. Paige wonders if the group thinks he's scared to face Kenny. Cole Cabana says, no way, but maybe he's afraid of failure. And then the guys all hype Paige up and then head out. And that's what we already talked about. Alex Reynolds ends it by saying that he's waited long enough.
They ribbed me too. I mean, when Hangman came in the scene furious, like, what the hell are you guys doing? I thought finally that was the split. He was going to be like, look, I don't need you guys talking for me. Let me do my own fucking thing and roll out. And we were going to get Cool Cowboy. Then we got After School Special Geek.
Bro, it was so bad. It was so bad.
You know, like one of my favorite movies watching on TNT growing up with my dad was Rocky III. And there's a point in the movie where Apollo Creed yells at Stallone, "There is no tomorrow." Like I could have easily done that. There is no tomorrow. I don't know, something cool.
They should have hired Carl Weathers for the spot.
God damn.
Like, see
how about that though? You want to talk about small games to play? Matt, you just laid out a beautiful one right there. What if there's only one guy in Dark Order that talks only in movie lines? Like he can't communicate any other way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the right time,
matter with you, man? Right?
you can even ask him stuff and he has to think about it and answer in a movie line. And you don't say the movie, but people, that's a fun little trivia thing at home. Like, I wonder what that's from. And they'll fucking type it in right there if they don't know it. And now you're interacting.
And you could even go further because TNT is one of the few cable networks that pays millions of dollars for these big box office movies to show on TV. You could grab lines from that, and then maybe they're watching TNT. Oh, that's right. That guy said it on Dynamite. Something.
I mean, you unconsciously came up with the even better idea earlier when you said they were standing around like a choir. Fuck it. Let's just make them a choir.
They could fucking be a men's choir. They can do some old school doo-wop if they want. I mean, whatever they want to do, man.
Choir.
A Dark Order choir.
And Maddie, a kid's choir.
I brought these gifts for you. They're up in my bum. Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero versus AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker and Rebel. I got some unfortunate news to report here, Silvio. Rebel has reportedly suffered a kneecap injury on last night's AEW Dynamite. Backstage at Daly's Place in Jacksonville notes that Rebel suffered a dislocated kneecap while breaking the pinup, according to Fightful Select. No other details on the injury were available. Of course, that usual recovery time is about 6 weeks. So before we get into the match, I think good idea here. You had Britt Baker on the crutches for so long. Now you put Rebel back on the crutches, but you make Rebel still have to do all the assistant work. I don't know. And then you Britt Baker. I was able to do it on my crutches. I don't know. I just feel like that probably be a way.
Rebel had a crutch for like
Rebel had crutches.
Right.
Yeah, well, there you go. So she's staying on the crutches, back on the crutches. Unfortunately, that's her gimmick.
Yeah, it's good. It's the Bob Orton gimmick.
Right.
It actually works, and her knee was fucked up. And I hate to say, like, I'm thankful it's just a fucking kneecap because that sucks. But I thought it was either a broken leg or blown ACL, MCL, the way they carried her out. So there's fan cam on Twitter, and it looked serious. And not say it's not, but I was like, at least it's more minor than what it could have been.
I got to check in on Homegirl today and make sure she's all right. But yeah, agreed. Something like a dislocation or you pop your knee out, that's something that can get popped in is a matter of days or weeks to heal, whereas other ones could require surgery.
I don't think it was dislocated. I think it was that the kneecap actually comes up and extends the ligaments and snaps back down, and your whole leg goes dead. And like you're super scared that everything's over with, you know, but really nasty there. But then at the end, they put Britt Baker through a table. I don't know. I just don't know about this segment. I know you were looking forward to the big Vicky Guerrero high spots. I thought she, shined in her, like getting her little heat and looking good, but I don't know, man. The bad booking ended in injuries and burying your champion through a table. Not a good look.
Yeah, so just to wrap up, I mean, at the end of the match, we saw Nyla Rose draping Baker over the top rope, and then she had a big knee to the back. She went for cover, but Rebel broke it up, and that's when we mentioned Rebel kind of hurt herself there. She ends up barely able to make it out of the ring, and then Rose she tags Vicky in, and then finishes Baker off by getting a lockjaw on Vicky for the tap out after Rose gets sent to the floor. So the winner was Britt Baker and Rebel via submission. Post-match, Rose, though, got back in the ring and then hit the beast bomb on Baker, and then she rolled Baker over to the apron near the table out on the floor, and then she power bombed Baker through the table. So I guess your heels got heat, but your heel also won. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, well, people want to say Britt Baker's a heel, but she's not. She's over as a baby face. She's good looking. She's articulate on the mic. She's outshining everybody else. She's sexy, and she's a doctor. And, like for real, not some bullshit they're trying to force. So she's a natural heel, though. That's the problem. That like those are all babyface attributes, but I think where she is fine. But that doesn't mean you get the heel to get babyface stuff on her. Plus, Nyla Rose being booked like a monster heel is really a baby face because it's LGBTQ month and we're trying to honor our wokeness as fucking human beings. So everything in this is backwards scramble fuckery as far as I'm concerned. I just hope Rebel's all right.
I do hope Rebel's all right. And the Vicky spots were what I expected them to be.
Yeah.
She's not a Guerrero. She's not a Guerrero. She's not a wrestler. and she is like a 60-year-old woman. So what the fuck are you going to get? I thought it was there were a couple funny parts and not necessarily for good, haha. But at one point, Vicky gets the tag finally, and she does the Eddie shake, and they cut right to commercial. And you see Rebel just kind of like toss Vicky to the ground, and Vicky takes like this weird prat fall. So it's just so funny that like the gimmick of the match is Vicky, and as soon as she gets in the ring, they cut to break. Yeah. Then for the finish, Vicky signals for the Eddie Frog Splash, and I thought for a second, no way, they're gonna have fucking Vicky jump off the second rope or do a Snoop Dogg, and she has Nyla go up, and the only way I could describe, basically, she tried to position Britt, and Britt kicked her off, and the only way I can describe it is that Vicky bonked into Nyla, causing Nyla to spill out, and then Britt slaps her in lockjaw. Vicky taps out and then pops right up to her knees like it didn't fucking hurt. So Britt gives her like a little baby kick. Britt tried everything she could. And then for some reason, Nyla power bombs Britt through the table after Britt was getting cheered and still acting like a heel. It was crazy and not necessarily in a good way. And I mean, this might be a little controversial, but this reminded me kind of some of the crazy things that didn't exactly stick in the Attitude Era. This feels like something Russo might have booked. Like the thinking on this, to me, I think from everybody putting it together was the business of this is going to be the craziness of Britt getting through the table. So everything else, doesn't really matter. Like I could see Russo booking this match in 98, like he would book Mae Young and fucking Moolah versus whoever. Yeah. It just was a lot.
I think
it was a match that never needed to hit the ring.
Vicky setting up the table, like this whole thing was a hit on Britt. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was for, and it backfires. Instead, we get Nyla setting up the table, didn't we? Like a lot of things just didn't make sense to me and how to use them. I was popping myself though, thinking of little dream bookings while this was going on. If Vicky was, able enough to do even the small things like threat of violence to rib AEW on big shit, like whatever, Nyla's got Britt or Rebel beat and sets him on the top rope and then tags in and says, give her the Spanish fly. And like, Vicky can set it up like she's going to actually hit a Spanish fly, but then something happens to interrupt it. And then we set up something else that's going to be massive, but everything looks like Vicky's about to hit a 450 and then it just gets killed. How many scenarios can we come up with like that way? Like, man, if they only wouldn't have stopped Vicky, she would have fucking F5'd everybody in this match, but that's how I would also use her. But that's also some video game dream booking. Anybody could get hurt on any dumb little thing. But yeah, this was very Russo-esque, but not thought out the right way. And sometimes with comedy, weird gimmick things that we book ourselves into a corner to for wrestle crap, that's the way she goes, boys.
And this, like, you're supposed to be cheering Nyla as the baby face, and Vicky is so clearly a heel, regardless of what Nyla does. How they thought, and they could hear the reaction Britt's been getting over the last few weeks since live audiences returned, how they thought for a moment that those two women, the Vicious Vixens, were going to be the baby faces in this scenario is mind-boggling. If they were insistent on doing this match, it should have been on Dark. You had no business putting that together.
That'd be actually a draw for Dark. Some wrestle crap.
Yeah, sure. I would have tuned into Dark to check that out, just to review it.
So they've advertised next week as they're going back on the road. They'll be in Miami next week. QT Marshall versus Cody Rhodes in a South Beach strap match. MJF's going to announce the stipulations for Chris Jericho to get through to have a match with him. Andrade El Idolo versus Matt Sydal takes place. Young Bucks champs taking on Penta, El Zero Miro, and Eddie Kingston for the tag team titles. Hager, Santana, and Ortiz with Conan will take on Wardlow, FTR, and Tully Blanchard. Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy will take on the Bunny and the Blade. Jake, I guess they're going to put her back in the match.
Dude, why? I heard that and then fucking shivered.
Yeah, well, I
just saw a Vicky Guerrero match right before that.
Right.
Yeah, I saw Saturday night Bunny almost get fucking paralyzed by Statlander.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Hager and then Santana Ortiz hype up next week's 6-man tag match in a package backstage. Hager says he almost respected Wardlow when he came into his world of MMA, but MJF ruined that and punched Dean Malenko. I was like, okay, has that anything to do with Wardlow? Santana says that they are kicking FTR's ass next week. And if they have their dog totally in their corner, they are bringing their own, that being Conan, Hasta la Muerta, blah, blah, blah. I can't say it. So, yes, they cut their promo. It was pretty good. But, yeah, that was the only, I was like, Wardlow tried to shake your hand. It wasn't his fault, dog. Why you got to hate on Wardlow? He didn't do anything.
No, he said Spears came in after and attacked.
Right.
Still. And then Malenko got punched.
What'd you think of this, Mr. Silvio?
It's a good promo. Yeah. Okay. I thought Santana was particularly good in this. Hager did well, too.
Yeah, I'm tired of words. I want show don't tell in my relationships, and I want to see voyeuristic scenes. I want to see reactions. I want to see that. I don't want pass the mic and I get to say something and I get to turn up the volume and I get to be Latin guy, and it just doesn't impress me.
Following that, we have our main event here, MJF versus Sammy Guevara, and they gave these two some time because as the match started, I was like, whoa, there's like 25 minutes left in the broadcast. Mm-hmm. So there was a kind of a long match between MJF and Sammy Guevara, had a couple commercial breaks. Ultimately, though, MJF picked up the pinfall as Spears got a chair, whacked Sammy with it after Wardlow got the ref's attention and threw Jericho down to the floor. And then MJF was able to partially block the headshot. Sammy was able to get his hands up, partially blocked a headshot, but then MJF made his way over to cover. So he got his hands up, and MJF got the victory. So post-match, though, we saw Spears and Wardlow help MJF and celebrate, and then we see clips of Dynamite as well. But what'd you think of the match, Ben?
I hated it.
I saw everybody online upset about the fact that MJF hit that second rope pile driver, but then Sammy Guevara kicked out at 2.
Kicked out at 2, back up fighting, super fucking jumps over the railing into the crowd. So many no sells on things that should have been finishes, Spanish flies, all this bullshit. I hate this kind of wrestling. And nobody's selling anything. We're just young and sexy, and we get to do it all. This is the worst of the indies come to TV. This is there is no psychology in this. There is no back and forth style. Who got taken out by Spears in the parking lot last week?
Sammy. Yeah.
Shouldn't it be Spears and him right here?
Probably.
Yeah, and we're not doing anything properly now. It's a get your shit in fest with a guy like MJF whose wrestling style needs no get your shit in stuff, right. And he's getting it all in, and it's all meaningless. I fucking hated this match.
Yeah, so I saw the feedback online by a lot of different fans who maybe were lapsed or hadn't been watching. I saw a couple people like, this is why I can't get into wrestling. If a guy kicks out of a pile driver off the second rope, how am I supposed to believe this is believable?
There's no empathy. There's no empathy on Sammy. He's not selling he's not selling anything. MJF isn't on top of him strong and duking brass knuckles or calling for Spears to hold up the chair while Spears can't use it. He can hold it there, and MJF can hit a boot on the chair on Sammy, and Sammy can be down, little color, throw him in, put the choke on him, and get him on camera. That's MJF's job, not to be diving and in the crowd doing lucha planchas as little white teenagers from the mall while you got fucking Cero Miedo on the show. Come on, man. This is the worst self-indulgent form of wrestling for the worst type of fans, in my opinion, that have killed this business and driven it down to 500,000 viewers because they cater to them for some reason, and they are the most critical, the least fucking merch buying, and just never putting anything over. It's not who I want to perform for. And anybody who would want that out of my match, I control them. They don't control me. So when they're doing that stuff, you're really giving the crowd and those people full control of the art form. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing at all, in my opinion.
By the way, I mean, you just said Cero Mierda, which means no shit.
Yeah.
So on a lighter note, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The match is okay. So the pile driver, when that off the second, I was like, holy fuck, I'm glad he was all right. But to your point, do you recall what MJF did shortly after the pile driver?
No, I was done. I was ready to go to bed after that. Get laid.
After the pile driver,
Right.
MJF began selling his leg for the remainder of the match, like his leg was really hurt. However, he did cover and have him kick out of it, and then proceeded to sell for the next 2 minutes. So he didn't even need that cover to get you hot and other people in the audience hot. He was going to sell the knee anyway. So he could have just started it there and been unable to cover Sammy to allow him to sell for the next few minutes as they lead into the finish. This match had some really fucking crazy shit in it. And some cool stuff, like the Sammy dive was nuts and people like that. The pile driver was spectacular. It was dangerous, but it was spectacular. They did some athletic stuff. My only problem with it is they didn't really, for a match like that, you have to have a story to it, a hook to drag all the way through. You could have done that as a 10-minute match on the undercard, but if you want a legit main event with some emotion behind it, not just the physical moves, they needed to be telling a consistent story of some kind all the way through, like MJF did in the last 3 minutes when he was selling his knee. There needed to be some kind of emotional hook, because as you said, I mean, it just kind of came across as guys giving moves to each other and just doing wrestling stuff. And that's
And
not
the reason I hate it is because they're both way better than that.
right. And that's not who MJF is.
Yeah, exactly.
MJF is not the guy that, every once in a while he could bust out something athletic just to show the world I'm a good athlete, but he never uses that stuff. It's the same thing that happened with him in Jungle Boy. For whatever reason, I think when MJF wrestles one of his peers or someone his age, I don't know if maybe he's just too nice backstage with them and says yes to ideas or what, but there's a complete, think of a match between MJF versus Cody versus MJF versus Sammy or Jungle Boy. You see two different MJFs. So I'm not quite sure why it is. I think he's a fantastic performer, and I thought they did a lot of great stuff. It just had no emotional hook. I did like that it was a shitty finish, so MJF could get a little bit of heat, but it was a very busy way to get into that finish for sure.
I kind of want to see more just like knockout type of finishes. Like I would have it would have been cool if he had just hit the pile driver off the top of the second and done, like Sammy's knocked out, ref stop. Like I would like, to me, that seems a little bit realistic and seems to be more with their style of the weigh-ins and trying to provide that sports presentation style. I think that would fit better than
you see what happens when you get knocked out for real in a match. The guys just keep wrestling around you. The guy in the Dark Order, they just kicked him over into the corner. Legit, Pepper had to drag him over to do a tag with a dead man's hand. You could die in there, and they'd still have to get their spots in. Because that's the only way they know how to wrestle, some of those guys, bro. Children.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's your AEW Dynamite review. Right.
Oh, that's your WWE Dynamite
review.
Review.
That's right, because Jim Ross does. I got one last thing I gotta mention. As we go off the air, Jim Ross says, thanks for joining us on WWE Dynamite.
Right after they show the beautiful video package of everything that happened the last year. There's one more. It was fucking hilarious.
So
there's one more thing we got to address about this main event. Is the chair shot to the head finish. When Spears did that with Cody last year and Cody got busted open and it was a big to-do, AEW had said how they had gimmicked a chair, meaning that they made the seat of the chair workable so you wouldn't get hurt. But it was an error and Spears actually caught Cody with the top of the chair.
Yeah.
So I hope to God that they are using a worked chair when Spears does this stuff, because in 2021, if you're taking chair shots to the head, hands up or not, it's too dangerous. I don't want to see it. Those days are done, man. It's not ECW.
I'll take 90s. Chair shots, bro. I'm just feeding in and I'm coming in.
Nope.
Hitting my hands all day, just because we know how to do it.
Anyway, AEW Dynamite, there it is, guys. I mean, do you have any thoughts on JR's thought? I mean, as far as him saying it slip up there, or is it just a slip?
He had a good tweet about it.
Okay. All right.
We're going to get to the point of how much liability and credibility are we going to lose based on doing favors for our grandparents. TNT is going to feel some way about that.
Yeah.
Going to get
That's
back.
a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Pretty big one.
I love it. I love it. It's great wrestle crap. It makes me fucking love being in this business, that kind of stuff. It makes me really laugh. But there are guys there that don't want to do favors in that executive vice president clique versus other guys who do favors.
Right.
And that's where the rift is really going to happen, because there's going to have to be a conversation of, is it Timmy Baltimore or is it Jim Ross? You know, in my opinion, is it Ray Flores or is it Jim Ross?
Miro.
Is it Mauro Ranallo? I mean, what are you going to do? And he's our grandfather, and not that you couldn't use him to do the Ross report or the great sit downs. That's where Ross is really the best in those sit down interviews to get stuff over. But we can't. Well, I'm not saying throw him out to the wolves based on how many times he's excuse me, made some errors. But we can't have that conversation's taking place today.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it might be better to shift him into more of that video package interview. And then, does anybody here actually listen to the AEW podcasts?
I used to. I haven't in quite a while.
Well, anyway, if you had it, JR was doing it, and you have it do it in talent or something, you have him putting over the talent there on his podcast, and then you can have Conrad or Feeney edit it. Then you can edit him and sound good. I'm just saying there's a couple different ways you could utilize them still, right, to get over the AEW talent if they feel like that faux pas on television is the last straw.
That seems like it really gets your go.
It does really get.
He's still valuable as an announcer. You could also just use him for special matches like the main event or a big match or something on the pay-per-view.
I don't know if I would. I would say
Excalibur's got to be the pitch guy.
I
don't know if I would use him in a big, because that these big moments of go homes are when mistakes are happening. And if there's a track record of it, anytime it's live, I'd say I love them, but I don't think we can do it, man. We can't risk the chance of the scene going south and becoming a laughing stock after we put all this effort into it. Like that's like working a huge match like that. Is anybody going to remember all these sick bumps that MJF and him took? No. What do they remember? The last 30 seconds when JR called AEW WWE Dynamite.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host on the scene where the air is green, and I'm lighting up that green. Yeah, boy. MSG. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. Each and every week, I also host another podcast. It's a South Park podcast. It's called
Suck My Bass, Suck My Bass.
A South Park Review, which you can find everywhere and anywhere, as well as right here on the HackerHamin Media Group affiliate Podbean Network, as well as joining the Realm Network there as well. You can check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Brand new episodes are up right now. It's dropped yesterday. Kenny dies, so go check that out as we're getting close to the end of season 5. As well as don't forget to check out patreon.com/Stevie Ray TV. He recently, last night, had on SWE wrestler Andrew Anderson, the Reinforcer. So you can go check out a 30-minute preview clip right now on YouTube as the end of this show. I put 30 minutes into it. I had to bleep out some foul language, so there's a lot of time put into that. So go check out that episode, as well as don't forget to check out patreon.com/RussoTWC.
Linda's gonna worry. Yeah, I've been a bad boy. No, you've been saying sorry. I got something that I enjoy. Because you can't see what my eyes see. I can see it, young writer. I can see it. And you can't to me. Flying high again. Yeah, Bob, come on in the cockpit in here. It's a tight, cramped cockpit. I need you right in here, young writer. We're about to bring this baby down on the landing strip.
So bring it down on the landing strip by going to patreon.com/RussoTWC and sign up for Massachusetts Theater. I set up the Bluetooth, so that was actually convenient.
You did a great job. You did a great job.
So also check out, guys, our sponsors, Russo Brand Coffee. Go to thebrosters.com, pick up your bag of Russo Bro Coffee. Use the code 5LB and you'll save some money off your coffee. Zordos Olive Oil. Get the finest Greek artisan olive oil. And check out my sponsor, thebakedboysclub.com. Use my code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save 15% off your order. Mr. Silvio, what's going on in Florida? Is Bulletproof? We saw him. He was in Belize. How's that going?
He is now Belizean. All is well, man. We're on the road to NWA Empower, just 1 month away in August. NWA's first all-women's pay-per-view. I'm fucking pumped about it. So our camp here's begun. We're getting Genocide prepped and ready to destroy and whoop some ass on that card. So keep checking her out on NWA Power. If you didn't see this week's episode, go back and watch it. She put a little hurting on Lady Frost. And the students at the dojo are kicking ass, coming up to that next level. So hoping to have a room full of future TV stars here in the coming months.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was really cool watching Taryn Terrell release the Cyborg on the NWA Power. That was pretty cool. So
yeah, that was great. Great character work and great beating. She did put on Lady Frost, man. I was like, I'm glad that's her, not me for sure. But Genocide, always welcome. We loved having her on Saturday. If you didn't catch Light the Fuse on Saturday, go back and watch that. We give you the old bear claw and the bear trap. So yeah, I had a good time this week cutting some Cameo promos, cameo.com/BenHamin. If you want birthday promos or you want to divorce your husband or whatever, I'm happy to do that for you. Please let me know. Cameo.com/BenHamin. Just got the ProWrestlingTees.com/BenHamin payout for the month. So thank you very much to all who are rocking the flag at the indie show. We'll see you on 7/17 in Toms River, New Jersey, the Action Sports Center for Titan Championship Wrestling, the 31st GGP, and I'll be back at Immortal in Rome, GGP champ. What's that? We'll have the Dynasty tag titles, but we're holding those for ransom. Okay. He's the Immortal Heavyweight Champion, and maybe I'll take back my Middle Eastern title that night too. We'll see. And then where else? August 1st, Messina, New York, New Breed Wrestling up there. A lot of legends on that show. And then I'm out with Rick Vickery in Vevey, Indiana on August 26th at the Catalina Wine Mixer there. Should be a good time. And then fly out that night to Albany for Waterfleet, New York with Big Time Wrestling, a huge legend show there as well. So get to see the Ascension at that one. Should be a good time. So
if you go watch the Swiss Wine Festival, definitely take some video footage. It's a free show. Send it to me and I'll credit you and we'll edit it and upload it all. So excellent.
But yeah, a lot good to be back, even though it was a short turnaround from Saturday to today with AEW Saturation. Some fun stuff. I think, Matt, it's time for you to grow a big porn stash. I think that's where we need to go for this whole thing. So, but yeah, Allah infidels, we're back. It's the Chris Silvio. It's MSG. It's HackerHamin. Lighten that fuse. Yalla.
Ding dong. Hello?